Hey, how's it going, fellas? So what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of an NBA player with a lot of kids? Well, probably someone like Dwight Howard or Shawn Kemp. And yeah, you're right. Kemp reportedly has 7 children with 6 different women, while Howard has somewhere between 5 to 8 kids according to different accounts. We're not sure. But these two guys can't even compare to this player who has 14 children with 9 different women. And his name is Calvin Murphy. For some background info, Murphy was one of the greatest players under 6 feet to have ever played basketball. In fact, he was only 5 foot 9 inches tall and weighed 165 pounds. Yet he was an all-star and inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1993. As of now, he's actually the shortest player in the Hall of Fame. In his NBA career from 1970 to 1983, he played 13 seasons for just one team, the Rockets. Murphy finished his career with averages of 18 points and 4 assists per game, which are solid numbers, especially for a player of his size. His best season statistically was in 1976, where he averaged 21 points and 7 assists per game, and he had another season where he averaged nearly 26 points per game. He's also one of the greatest college basketball players of all time. One time, he scored 68 points in a college game. So Murphy had a lot of game, on and off the court. Currently, he's working as a local broadcaster for the Houston Rockets. And with 14 children and 9 different baby mamas, there's bound to be some drama. Murphy played in the NBA during the 1970s and 80s, and back then, players didn't make as much money as they do today. In 1974, the average NBA salary was only $90,000 a year. Even taking into account inflation, it's still nowhere near the average NBA salary today, which is $5 million. So for Calvin Murphy, who conceived most of his children during his playing career, really struggled to support them financially. Of course, this led to a bunch of other issues. It's obviously difficult to develop a great relationship with your children if you have to bounce around all over the country to see all 14 of them. Some of those kids would be getting more attention than others. In 2004, Murphy was brought into court because he was charged with 3 counts of indecency with a child and 3 counts of aggravated sexual assault. If he was found guilty, he could potentially spend the rest of his life in prison. He was accused of molesting 5 of his daughters in the 1990s when they were between the ages of 6 and 13. 4 of the 5 daughters were present in the courtroom in 2004 as adults now, and they said Murphy repeatedly fondled and performed sexual acts on them over 10 years ago. The prosecution attorney stated to please stand up for these girls, acknowledge to the world who Murphy is and what he's about, a child molester. Those are really strong words. But on the other hand, Murphy's defense attorney stated that these allegations surfaced from the tension between those children and the children of Murphy's ex-wife. Murphy was not this kind of person, and he would never do anything like this. This case was mainly about jealousy and hatred, getting revenge for a father who did a disservice to his children by having such an unusual family tree. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of a weird case. Those 5 daughters were born outside of Murphy's marriage and they were accusing him. But Murphy had another 2 daughters who were born from his ex-wife and they were defending him. And at times, the court had trouble keeping track of Murphy's huge family. Basically, at the end of the trial, Murphy was found innocent. The jury decided that the testimony of the 5 daughters accusing him was unreliable. It was developed from a long-standing resentment because Murphy never treated the children who were born outside of his marriage very well. But at the same time, he did not perform these type of acts on them. After being found innocent, Murphy hoped to reconnect with his other daughters and try to redevelop a better relationship. This case also made him realize that infidelity is clearly not good. People cannot just have affairs anytime they want to, because they're gonna end up playing with people's lives, and down the road it might come back to bite them. Shortly after this case became public, Murphy also lost his job on the broadcast team in Houston, and this case in general took a huge emotional toll on his family. But fortunately for him, 8 years later in 2012, he got reinstated as a local broadcaster. This finally brought him some closure to this whole situation. He now has a fresh start, and over the years, his relationship with his family has been improving. And that's the story of the NBA player who had 14 children. Now that I think about it, that's actually enough children to create one entire NBA roster. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.